police officer Bernadette Eligardo is a familiar face on the streets of Dili.
It's very, very peaceful, and I hope, sir, that it will continue.
Eligardo is from the Philippines and is with a United Nations police force that keeps the peace in East Timor. After East Timor overwhelmingly voted for independence from Indonesia in 1999, Indonesian-backed militias ransacked the country. The Australian military intervened to restore order. In 2006, violence again erupted after nearly half the military defected, claiming discrimination. Protests turned to riots, and 100,000 people were driven from their homes. The Prime Minister at the time, Mary Alkatiri, says political rivals provoked the violence to bring down the elected government.
If you have two or three state institutions, sovereign institutions, fighting each other, means the democracy failed.
Prime Minister Alkatiri resigned. UN troops returned to the country and have been responsible for security since. In 2007, Senana Guzmão was elected prime minister. Both he and East Timor President Jose Ramos Horta survived assassination attempts in 2008. Today, Dili is peaceful, and the prime minister attends public events like this one to promote traffic safety and reflect on the anniversary of the independence vote.
This year it is very important for us to, in a consensus way, we decide together to look forward and not to repeat the bad experience that we have during these last 10 years.
For the Voice of America, this is the unique partnership.
Despite the crises the country has faced, Altu Kari, the UN Special Representative for East Timor, is encouraged by the peaceful way they have been handled.
It's not the absence of crisis. It is the manner in which the crisis is going to be met and resolved that defines a nation.
Former Prime Minister Alkatiri initially supported the UN intervention, but is concerned that East Timor is becoming too dependent on outside help.
It's not good for the country, for the future of the country. We need now to have a clear program of reform of the defense and security that can really transmit to the people some confidence.
Poverty and unemployment remain major problems, but stability has made it possible to begin addressing these problems. In 2006, there were over 1,600 families living here in this refugee camp outside of Dili. Today, there are less than 50. The government has found housing for most, but Balbina de Silva and her family were not so lucky. She says yesterday they were moved into the city, but the local people did not accept them, so they had to come back. While independence has not yet brought prosperity, many in East Timor, like Elsa Expostu, who grows coffee in the rural highlands of the Aleu district, say they are better off today. She says there is more opportunity today than there was during Indonesian rule. If invested wisely, the country's vast oil and gas resources could be used to fund long-term development. East Timor is a young nation with a rapidly growing population, a nation that UN Special Representative Kari says, with proper assistance, can become a vibrant democracy.
I think it can be a beacon in the coming few years for those of us who believe that the values of democracy, the values of respect for human rights, the values for respect for the rule of law are indeed universal values.
Nation building, he says, is a long-term process, and 10 years is just the beginning. Brian Padden, VOA News, Dili.